Okay, good afternoon, class.
Good afternoon, ma'am.
Good afternoon,
Um,
ma'am.
how was your day? I hope you're all having a great day. Miss Secretary, kindly check the attendance. So, before we start, do you have any concerns regarding our past topic, to our last discussion?
Nan
If
po.
you if you have
None,
no
ma'am.
concerns, let us start our discussion for today. Can you see the text on the screen?
Yes, ma'am.
Anthony, can you read the text screen?
Yvette is a tightrope walker. She lives in a small wood near the circus. Every evening, she walks to work. She goes out of her house, down the garden path, through the gate, through the wood, over the bridge, along the river, round the circus tent, and in through a door. When it's her turn, she walks out of the dressing room, along the corridor, into the ring, onto the ladder, up the ladder to the top. She climbs onto the step and then step off onto the rope. She walks very carefully along the rope to the other end. She never falls off.
Okay, what can you notice about the text, Miss Meridel? Can you notice what is
Yes,
on the
ma'am.
text?
So, based on what I have noticed, there are words that have underlined like through, out of, along, into, onto, up, to the, to, onto, off, onto, along, to, up. So there are words that have underlined, ma'am.
Okay, very good. Now, can you recognize or identify what these underlined words are? Mr. Anthony?
Ma'am, based on what I have been able to remember from the past lessons, I've had these are prepositions of movement, ma'am. Am I right? Prepositions of movement.
Precisely. Thank you for answering, and Mr. Anthony. What we're going to tackle is prepositions of movement. But first, what is prepositions of movement? Yes, Miss Meridel, kindly read.
Preposition of movement show movement from one place to another place. These prepositions always describe movement and we usually use them with verbs of motion.
Thank you, Miss Merida. So, prepositions of movement are significant in sentence structure as it has relation to objects, persons, and location. It is widely used every day, even in small conversations. For example, you ask your friends where they are going or what they are doing. Of course, they'll answer a certain movement. It could be direction, destination to something. Now let us see what the prepositions of movement are. Can you read what's on the screen, please, Mr. Anthony?
Prepositions of movement: to, towards, up to, from, away from, onto, off, into, throughout, round, around, over, along.
Thank you, Mr. Anthony. So, these are the prepositions of movement that you saw in the text earlier. So, now I'll state the explanations to elaborate their usage while I'm discussing. I require you to jot down notes of their usage so that you'll be guided. The preposition of movement to is used to indicate a destination. Towards used to say that someone or something moves, looks, faces in the direction of someone or something. It's getting closer to something. Up to from used to indicate extension as far as a specified place. There's a specified place in up to from. Away from is to indicate moving further away from something. Onto, a movement to the top surface of something. Off is a movement away from and often down from something. Into is a movement to an enclosed space. It could be also movement resulting in physical contact on like colliding into something. Through is a movement from one side of an enclosed space to the other side, or it could be in something. Next is out of, to go from inside space to outside of a space. Next is round or around. It is movement passing something in a curved route or in a circular motion, but not going through it. Over is movement above and across the top or top surface of something, while along is a movement of something in a line that follows the side of something long. So can you follow?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, now I hope you jot down notes so that you can follow our discussion. Now, for a deeper understanding of the prepositions of movement, I provided some sample illustrations and sentences to each preposition. So, what you see on your screen right now is the preposition to. Our example there is to the box. So, for example, the man is walking to the box. So, the preposition to is used when you're stating a destination of the movement or describing the result of the movement. When we're using to, you will already know where he would end up, which is to the box, and therefore his destination is the box. Next is towards the box. What can you notice on the screen? What can you notice about the ball?
Ma'am, I
Yes,
think the ball
Merida.
is I think the ball is being thrown to the box, ma'am. Towards the box, ma'am.
Okay, you're good. You're right. Okay. For example, the ball is moving towards the box. You can see that the movement of the ball is towards the box, as you can see on the screen. Therefore, preposition towards is used when it is in the direction of someone or something. It is facing or getting closer to something. So, preposition to and towards differ. Preposition to indicates destination, while towards indicates direction. So, in towards, there could be a chance that the ball didn't end up to the box. It could be before the box or past the box. While to, there's a destination that the final destination is the box. Can you follow?
Yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
ma'am.
Okay, let us move to another preposition of movement. Preposition of movement up to from. So the sample illustration is the same as the preposition to. Actually, prepositions to, towards, up to from, and away from has the same illustrations. Preposition up to from is used to indicate extension as far as a specified place. For example, the man is walking up to the lighthouse from the sea. There's an indication of how far they go, then ended up or reached the lighthouse. There's a specific how far they go. Next is away from the box. What can you notice on the PowerPoint, Miss Meridel?
Um, The ball, ma'am, is um besides the box, ma'am.
Okay, so can you give an example of away from the box, Mr. Anthony?
Okay. The ball bounces away from the box.
Okay, very good. The preposition away from is a movement wherein someone or something moves farther away from something. Next is onto the box. The preposition onto refers to movement to the surface of something. For example, the ball is thrown onto the box. It means the ball moves to the surface of the box. We all know that the preposition of face on was talking um, about surface. So here onto the box is used or refers to movement to surface of something. Next is off the box. The preposition off is the same as onto that refers to surface. But in preposition of, it is the movement of away from and often down from something. It differs to away from as it is often down from something. So, for example, the ball fell off from the box. So it differs from prepositions away from and out of. Away from refers to moving farther away, while out of is used in enclosed spaces, like, for example, the box. Next is into the box. The preposition into is a movement entering an enclosed space. It could be it could also be used when someone or something collides with something, as I've said earlier. For example, the ball bounces into the box. The box is enclosed, therefore we use preposition into. Next is through the tube. Preposition of movement through is a movement where something or someone enters an enclosed space and then exits something. So can you give an example, Mr. Anthony?
Mm, the ball went through the tube.
Okay, very good. Now remember that when we use through, it is when something or someone enters an enclosed space and then exits something. Next is out of the box. Preposition of movement out of is a movement when you enters inside space and then moves outside the space. For example, the ball jumps out of the box. Therefore, the ball moves outside the space or outside the box. Next is round or around the box. The preposition round and around is the same in function if it's in a form of movement. Round and around is the movement on circular motion or curved route. Around could also mean moving in different directions or part of something. For example, he looked around to check his place. But here, in example, here it is not talking about the circular manner that he looked around. But to our example here, the ball rolls around the box. So this means that the ball moves in a circular motion. Next is over the wall. The preposition over is a movement above and across the top or top surface of something. Can you give an example? Mr. Anthony?
Based on the picture, ma'am, I think the ball went over the wall.
Okay, thank you. This means that the ball crosses the top surface of the wall. It is movement above and across the top or top surface of something. Lastly is along the road. We use the preposition along. Preposition of movement along is the movement of something in a line that follows the side of something long. Can you give an example, Miss Meridel?
Um, Example, ma'am. The ball rolls along the road.
Okay, very good. This means that the ball moves in a line parallel to the road. So always remember that the movement of along is something in a line that follows the side of something long. That's, for example, is the road or the stream, the river, the bridge. Okay, now can you follow?
Yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
ma'am.
Okay, do you
Yes,
have any clarifications or additional thoughts regarding our topic?
none,
So
ma'am.
far, ma'am.
Okay, now that we got to know the usage of each preposition of movement, let us look into some prepositions of movement that are closely related to prepositions of place. Can you read the first row, Mr. Anthony? The first row only.
Only the movement, ma'am.
Here.
Okay. Walk to towards the station. Um, you arrive in at the station.
Yes, that are some preposition of movement that are closely related to prepositions of place. Another, can you read, Miss Maridel?
When you have climbed onto the roof, you are on top of the roof.
What's another example that are closely related to prepositions of place, Mr. Anthony?
Have crept into a classroom. You are inside the classroom.
Next is have when you have come out of a shop or when you are out of or outside the shop. There's another three. Can you read them, Miss Bunso?
When you drive through a tunnel, you are inside the tunnel. And when you fly over above the town, you are over or above the town.
So please remember that these prepositions of movement are closely related to prepositions of place, but it may look like they are the same, but do not be confused. Remember that prepositions of movement refer to movement from one place to another and are usually used with the verbs of motion, while prepositions of place is where something or someone is placed or located. So it looks like you've understood our discussion for today. Great work. Now, to assess what you've learned, I've prepared two sets of exercises A and B. For exercise A, kindly read the direction, please, Mr. Anthony.
For the exercise A, complete the sentences using the correct prepositions of movement.
Okay, now let us start answering the following sentences. Number one, can you read, Miss Bunso?
Number one, when he came blank the sauna, he was sweating a lot. A out of, B of, C two. The
What?
answer is letter A, ma'am.
Let us see if the answer is letter A. Correct. It is out of. Next, Number two, can you read Mr. Anthony and then please answer?
Number two, walk blank the yellow line to reach the emergency room. I think the answer is C, ma'am, walk along the yellow line to reach the emergency room.
Let us see if this is right. Correct, because when we say along, it is following a line or parallel to something. Next, Miss Meridel, please read and answer.
Number 3. He threw the ball blank the fence and it landed on the roof of a car. A over, B off, C into. The answer is letter A. Over. He threw the ball over the fence and it landed on the roof of a car.
Very good. When we say over, it is the top surface of a something. So, number four, he saw a bee flying blank him and ran away. So, A towards, B into, C off. So, who can answer?
Ma'am,
Okay, Mr. Anthony.
I think the answer is A, towards. He saw a bee flying towards him and ran away.
Towards, very good. When we talk about towards, it is facing or in the direction of something. Therefore, the bee that is flying towards him or facing towards him are getting closer to him. Last, on exercise A, kindly read Miss Bunso and answer.
Number 5. We got blank the car and ran blank the building. A down or 2, B out of or into, C off and off on. The answer is letter B out of into. We got out of the car and ran into the building.
Very good. Now it is getting exciting and we will move forward to exercise B. So can you read the direction, please, Mr. Anthony?
For the exercise B, complete each sentence using the appropriate preposition in the back.
Okay. Kindly read the first sentence, Miss Bunso.
Number 1. He jumped from one side of the rock to the other side of the rock. He jumped along the rock. The rock. The answer
So,
is,
what do you think is the answer?
I think the answer, ma'am, is over. He
Over.
jumped.
Okay, very good. It is over the rock. It crosses something from one side to the other side. It tells here, he jumped from one side of the rock to other side of the rock. Next sentence, kindly read Mr. Anthony and please answer.
Number two, the car was going in the direction of the bridge. The car was going blank the bridge. I think the answer, ma'am, is mm, towards. The car was going towards the bridge.
Very good. When we say towards, it is in the direction of something. So therefore, the car was going towards the bridge. Next is number three. Kindly read Miss Punso and please answer.
Number 3. They ran in the trees from one end to the other end. They ran blank the trees. The answer is true. They ran in the trees from one end to the other end. They ran through the trees.
Very good. But when we say through, it is a movement of entering from one end to the other end. Number four, when she came from the interior of the office to the exterior of the office, she looked upset. When she came blank the office, she looked upset. What do you think is a preposition of movement that can be used here from the interior of the office to the exterior of the office? Anyone?
I think, ma'am, the answer to the number 4 is out of the official look absent.
Very good. Now let us move to number 5. He was on the stage and then he went away from the stage. So therefore, he went blank the stage. What do you think is the answer, Mr. Anthony?
Okay, I think the answer, ma'am, is off. He went off the stage.
Very good. When we say off, and then when we talk about away from or went down, it is of. We use the preposition of movement of. It refers to surfaces when you get away from the surface. Okay, very good class. I hope you've learned much for today. Before we end our session, I would like to give you homework. It is for the application of what you've learned. So this is the application. So kindly read the homework, please.
Ma'am,
Okay, Miss Marida.
com- compose an essay with a scenario of you going to school, including the prepositions of movement.
Okay, you can pass your homework to our Google Classroom, and I'll post the rubrics and the due date of your homework. Do you have any clarifications?
None, ma'am. Everything is clear.
Okay. Have you understood my discussion for today?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
Okay.
ma'am.
If you have no clarifications, then see you at our next meeting and thank you for listening.
Thank
Bye,
you, ma'am.
ma'am.
Bye.
Thank you,
Thank
ma'am.
you.